Why did I become a coach? It was more accident than judgment. I'd reached a point in my life where it had plateaued somewhat. My mid to late 30s, unfulfilled, unmotivated. I'd put on a lot of weight, was drinking too much. All of the things that were leading me to a life that felt slightly lackluster and meaningless in many ways, even though outwardly things were going incredibly well in terms of those traditional markers of business success. I had my own financial brokerage at the time, but inwardly I was struggling a bit. And I went on a quest really to try and solve that solution. And that led me to a great book called Awaken the Giant Within by Anthony Robbins. And within that book, he mentioned that he trained with a guy called John Grinder. John Grinder happens to be the co-founder of NLP. And I remember reading that, and that's a coaching language or a coaching practice, NLP. And I remember reading it thinking, imagine if I could train with the guy that actually taught Anthony Robbins. Wouldn't that be something? Assuming I'm going to have to, travel the globe and it's going to cost hundreds of thousands of pounds. I Googled around, and next course for me was just part of London, Croydon, the last place on earth I expected to find John Grinder, but he was there. So I went to train with him. I had no idea what the training was about. It turned out that it was about executive NLP style coach training. And I loved it. I loved every single second of it with no intention of ever becoming a coach. I just wanted to coach myself. And I think you'll find that a lot of the time, our number one client will always be ourselves. And I embraced all that learning and I applied all that learning to thyself. Then I picked up that learning and helped my team understand how their brains worked better so we could perform better in that office environment. And we grew a business 7 times bigger in half the time. And I just thought, this is rocket fuel. Continued my development. And what NLP lacked was the real science. Therefore, I went back to university twice, part-time, to do a degree and then a master's degree in positive psychology and coaching psychology, one of the few people in the world that's educated in coaching to that level. And I just fell in love with the practice, the art form of coaching, first and foremost, to help myself and those around me. But then more broadly, could I do good with this skill in the world? And that led me on an adventure and a quest to create different coaching initiatives, ideas, concepts, books, podcasts, apps that have helped hundreds of thousands of people change their lives in many different ways, all because of this one master skill that is coaching. To such a point, 6 years ago, I faced that wonderful choice where I couldn't actually run the two things together. I couldn't run all the coaching dreams and businesses and initiatives I wanted to create to do good in the world alongside my broking business. So I made the bold decision to step away from that big city career full-time into coaching initiatives, ideas and concepts. And I have to say, whilst I loved my broking career, it was the best decision I've ever made. I have total freedom to dictate my days. I get to do work that inspires not only me, but helps others lead a life of contribution, service, giving back, optimal health, optimal management of my own mind, and helping others to do the same to unlock elite performance. For me, it's the greatest gift, and I will never ever stop banging on about it. And now I'm on a mission to help other people that were like me, that maybe were struggling a little bit and want to do something different, to train to become coaches. They can come on this adventure with me because you can't lose, because you become your best client. Whether you actually coach someone in the real world or not is almost irrelevant due to the wonderful self-development that you gain. And also for the existing coaches that are already accredited out there, I now really focus on the marketing and business side of coaching to help our accredited coaches as well for our Coach MBA create really thriving coaching businesses, because I know that bit's so important. I think that's lacking from the coaching world, and I want to make sure that you get to do what you love on a daily basis. You can help more people vicariously. As a collective, we can move the needle in millions of people's lives. So that is how I stumbled into coaching. If you want to know more, come and join me at thecoachbusiness.school. Let's do this. Your coach, Andy.